Imagine what it must have been like after dark on the farms, ranches, and small towns of southeast Louisiana more than 75 years ago. Before there was power, before there was the convenience of electricity. Life was hard and unyielding, most chores done by hand without the benefit of electric pumps, electric lighting, or electric appliances.
You would generally take a cold bath in a tub. If you did get a kettle of hot water on the stove and pour in with your water. We had coal oil lamps for lights. We had wood stoves for cooking. We had to cut wood for the stove for cooking before we had electricity. We had hand clippers that we clipped our sheep with. One time we had a bored well. It was about 60 foot deep. And you pulled it with a rope. And the bucket was about so long like that.
But things were about to change after Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed an executive order creating the REA. All across rural America, farmers, ranchers, families, and local businesses banded together to begin a movement that would bring light to the countryside. Included in that movement was the creation of Washington St. Tammany Electric, born out of the spirit of determined, independent-minded people right here in our own community. People who understood the great possibilities that can be realized by working together, who had the courage and the vision to do what the large power companies refused to do.
I was always awestruck by the job that the people did. You had a group of people, friends, neighbors, that wanted the perks of those that lived in town. You had all of these various things that we take for granted today finally came to the countryside. The task was monumental, but they got together and they did it. The lack of equipment, the methods that they had to use, it really inspires me to see that. And I wonder how they got it done.
I was hired in January 1964, and the work was tedious. You had a A-frame digger truck that you used to dig the hole, and then if they were just a couple of you out there, you usually dug the hole by hand while the other people pulled the wire out, service wire, and framed the pole. And then you set the pole and you pull the wire, connected it all up, made the service on it.
All across America, lights came to thousands of farms, towns, and villages, and along with it, all the conveniences of modern life and the promise of economic growth and prosperity. The effect was so powerful that in 1940, a man sitting in a pew in a small rural church was moved to stand up and say, "My brothers and sisters, I want to tell you two things. The greatest thing in the world is to have God in your heart, and the second greatest thing on earth is to have electricity in your home."
It brought electricity and it helped. You got more light, you got more work, faster work, and all that. We didn't have television then. We got a radio later on. We got a refrigerator. And later years we got a deep freeze. After World War II, you couldn't get nothing then. You couldn't buy nothing. This man got 4 refrigerators in Covington. And he let me have one of them. I believe I kept it 20-some years before it went bad on me. It was a good one, best one I ever got. We read our own meter, put it on our card when we sent it in for our electric bill. We sent the meter reading in with it. It was less than $10. It was about $6 or $7, something like that a month. But see, we didn't have all that much on then.
Dairymen went from milking a few cows to being able to milk hundreds of cows. The dairy industry flourished with electricity in the countryside. The stores started to pop up. Refrigeration came in. You could keep things. You could maintain. You had light to read by.
From its earliest days, WST has grown right along with the community. Locally owned and locally controlled by its members, your cooperative is an integral part of the community it serves, providing local jobs, participating in local charities and civic groups, supporting education, promoting the safe and efficient use of electricity, and paving the way for economic growth and future development.
Right out of high school, I started to work here in 1958, and back then we had less than 10,000 customers. And I can remember Mr. Lyle saying when we got 10,000, that was a big thing. And now we have over 50,000. So that's quite an accomplishment for WST. We would build the bills by hand. We would subtract the kilowatts. We had a chart that we would key in the usage. Back then people didn't use very much, and our chart went to 3,000. That was as high as it went. And then we would have to calculate the rest of the bill and key it in. And today we use the computers. It's just a total different world.
In order to maintain more than 5,000 miles of power distribution infrastructure, WST utilizes the latest in technology while operating as efficiently as possible. Your cooperative has also emerged as a national leader in safe work practices and places a premium on the advanced training of all its employees to protect workers, members, and the public at large.
You've got your hydraulic digger trucks now, and when you get the hole dug, you set the pole, and then you get the digger truck out of the way. You move the bucket truck in. There's no climbing or anything. Everything is done by hydraulics.
Over the past 75 years of service to its members, WST has overcome the challenges brought by storms, economic slumps, and predatory corporations, which have all threatened to undermine this community organization. Yet your cooperative stands tall.
In the early 90s, there was a hostile takeover attempt by a competing investor-owned utility. They were trying to basically acquire this co-op for pennies on the dollar. $23 million is what they offered, and for a $150 million plant. And the membership beat that back soundly. And the membership said, no, we'd rather stay with it and give you all a chance to straighten it out, and which we did. A thing that I'm really proud of is that during this takeover period, we elevated the first woman to the general manager's position of any co-op in the state, and that was Miss Pat Jones. She was a long-time employee, faithful employee, and she helped rally the employees and helped us convince the membership that this co-op was worth saving and keeping it as a not-for-profit co-op.
Your cooperative is guided by the fundamental principles of democratic control, quality service, and fiscal responsibility. These are the principles upon which your cooperative was founded, and these are the principles that will be in place during the next 75 years. We appreciate the loyalty and dedication demonstrated by our members through the decades and we consider it the highest honor and privilege to continue serving you.